I love Larry. It's nice to have a director who thinks outside of the box and really grasps the tone of Mark Cherry and the tone of the show.
There's a director there that's gonna say, didn't work, nice try, pull it back. Or they're gonna say, brilliant genius, wouldn't have thought of that, go farther, great, good for you. And with Larry, I feel like I have that relationship, and so it's, you know, just a mutual respect party, and we have a really good time.
I think the main job is to find the scene. Each scene is a different set of challenges.
Because a lot of times you don't know how to approach a scene until you see the actors play it.
And that's just going to be Larry. They think Larry's directing the episode, but I am. But I think this is just a dirty over here. It's just a little. You're our hero.
One other thing, Roy.
Then when it's not, I'll change it.
Come
Well, I think one of the things that's very good about the show is the use of theme per episode. And sometimes it's very light and very soft, but sometimes it's very strong.
And the title of the episode is There's Something About a War.
You just missed out on a good thing.
Because we have stories that are sometimes so separate, it helps unify the universe of the show, even when the girls are acting out separate stories and doing separate things.
Take two with that intro.
We arc into the story with Mary Alice setting it for us.
If there was one thing Edie Britt understood, it was the nature of war.
The teaser is usually about 2 or 3 pages long and sets the theme that kind of settles us in and gets us going.
That to the victor go the spoils.
I love opening a script and reading what I'm going to do, and I love the unexpected.
We have a team of writers that are constantly making it better.
Whenever there's sparks or there's chemistry, you know, you get very excited and say, well, you know, I think there's something to mine here. I think they see that too.
I love being at the mercy of the writers, and especially Mark Cherry, because he has such a tone, and he knows Gabrielle much better than I do. And I just read the words.
It's generally 2 weeks to get a script from beginning to end, and sometimes by the end you're just swimming. You don't remember what you put in the other scene, and you have to juggle juggle a lot of balls to sort of like keep straight what is going on and make the episode come out like a coherent whole.
It's sort of a very much a team effort, and it's all about breaking stories as a group and then sending people off to write different scenes.
As soon as we have the story lines all kind of broken, we'll do a production outline. And the production outline will explain where the scenes are, what characters appear in the scenes, and just in a little short paragraph, what actually happens in the scene.
This is episode 213. Carlos and Gabby talk, and then Gabby stops cold when she sees Sister Mary and finds out that Sister Mary's back in town.
So we go into a production meeting and we have a general outline of what the sketch is.
Scene A22 is what we open the show with tomorrow. Sister Mary is parked on Wisteria Lane. Carlos comes out and gets in the car.
This is an established car, isn't it? Do we, in 209, establish this car?
Everybody in the different departments gets a chance to walk through with the director and the writer-producer all the different scenes and know what to prepare for.
Scene 34 is the top of day 6. Bree goes over to Betty's and she's trying to make a pitch on Danielle's behalf.
We're gonna have to stage Betty out from the house. Is there a mailbox in front of that house?
There may be, there always can be.
As we go through the production meeting, we just find out what cars and what cast and everything that's going to be expected, and then they go back and rewrite.
We're working on a very tight schedule. It takes us 8 to 9 days to produce, 43 minutes of finished film.
We do work rather instinctually at times because the writing process here is very fluid and open. And I think as you're working through the material and as they're working with it, it develops and develops and develops. What do you like?
We have a dear friend back from a missionary trip to tell us about her experience.
Just come across during that.
So we are doing that?
Well, let's give it a try.
Rehearsing.
We, through the rehearsal process, actually do a lot of experimentation and a lot of discovery.
The rehearsal's really important as an actor to really find your rhythm, find the words and the actions, and see where it's going to take you and where it's going to take the scene.
If there's one thing that's unique about at least how I approach it here is allowing growth during the process of shooting. Kodak likes it. All right, let's shoot it.
It's sort of like summer stock, You're putting up a one-act play every week and you're always behind and under-rehearsed. Do you feel like sometimes it brings out your best work because you have to act before you think, which is one of the keys of good acting? And yeah, I enjoy the challenge. As long as I don't get fired, I enjoy the challenge.
When we did that steak cutting scene in episode 213, I think the thing that I recall the most was the sawing. When we were shooting it, there were a lot of takes like where the whole table was shaking, and it allowed me to just sort of have all these different reactions. And then that whole thing of just the close-ups, like I'm looking at the steak, I'm looking at him, I'm looking at the steak, I'm looking at him.
Well, I would like to, but to be honest, you know, the fact that you can't even cut that meat is not helping.
Yeah, it was all about the comedy of the steak cutting.
That's not fair. You overcooked it. And frankly, it's really not the freshest meat.
Well, neither am I.
Put them on their marks. Let's go, Annie.
You know, things just happen in the moment and from take to take that, you know, are what it's really all about.
Action, Marcia.
You know, the moment to moment spontaneity of it. And it just seems to me that.
It's not a place for the faint of heart, or perhaps those who want to hang desperately to their preparatory work.
Where the chaoticness comes in is set design, hair, makeup, set dressings, props, location, transpo. It's the whole crew that's just a domino effect of, we're in a spa. No, we're in a restaurant. Her hair's wet, her hair's dry. She's wearing a skirt. No, she's wearing pants. And it's that running around of, throw this on, take that off, put your makeup off, put it back on, blow out the hair, dry the hair, wet the hair. It's like, you know, it can be pretty crazy.
The set and the group of people, the actors, the directors, even, you know, the prop people, the crew, it becomes this incredibly tight team. And I swear, I mean, it should be known that if it weren't for such an incredibly talented group of people, we wouldn't be able to work this way.
You can't control the weather, and people think that in California it never rains. It did. It rained a lot this past season. And you can't control the airplanes.
Apple 22 Baker, take 2.
We got a helicopter.
We'll sometimes sit in, there'll be 7 or 8. It's unbelievable. We're right under a flight path. It's a testament to Mr. Aggie that we get sound at all.
Holding for this plane to clear.
For the planes, as you saw today, it's just like a major dilemma up here on Wisteria Lane.
The whole having kids thing again. All those planes that keep on flying over.
Got it?
Anybody tells you they know exactly what's going to happen all through a day and every last little thing that's going to happen, they're lying to you. You know, all sorts of magic, crazy things happen, or things you didn't expect.
We kind of seize the moment, and it becomes like this game of succeeding.
Action! What did they think of my President Bull Clinton idea?
It fell together very easily and well today. Like we have a little bit of extra time to shoot something a little more complexly at the end.
That is fantastic!
It's a phone call. Usually someone sits and or stands and reads the phone, but we're going to walk around the entire set. So that's fun.
Oh, terrific. Hey, now tell me something. How do they like the promotional plan? The cow tipping contest.
Carry the Steadicam, weighs about 85 pounds. He likes to freestyle, let everyone sort of do what they want to do, and we do like 1 million takes.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just glad that they love my idea.
On this side of the conversation, we just designed a similar series of moves for her that would cut against his.
Hey, did they like the Hugh Hefner in the Plague House?
They're calling me in for a meeting. I gotta go. Love you. Bye. Everyone works incredibly long hours.
Yeah, we're going again, Brenda.
Just run it from the top.
And when you have someone at the helm who enjoys it and who creates a team, it makes it all that much better.
You guys are getting better at keeping up.
I love Larry. We always tease him.
Director who directs himself as a fool for a patient.
Oh, God, Larry.
Okay, here we go. She's over here.
We try and make the whole day about comedy.
You make this one lower than this one.
All right.
Hey, Zane, high five. You are you are the man. Unbelievable.
The company line is, Larry's great. He's so insightful and intelligent, handsome, sexy. Handsome.
Now tell him the real stuff.
He's a nightmare. He's drunk all the time.
I think with Larry, the biggest thing and what makes him so special is that he's so adaptable.
At some point, Mark said, you know what, we promised this war between these two and we haven't really delivered yet. So how about a big, fat fight between the two of them? So there it is.
The
fight scene was kind of a bigger deal than we usually do. We were on a location.
We still don't have the final pages for that scene, so we don't know yet exactly positively how we're going to use that church for what is going to be a catfight between Gabrielle and Sister Mary. A general idea of the areas that we can work in, the type of mechanics that we would need to stage the fight with, and basically putting together a grab bag of options.
They go to the location, they scout it, and then all that comes to our department, and we get whatever they need there. There's about 52 pieces of equipment for the show, and that is comprised of makeup trailers, wardrobe trailers, the actors' dressing rooms, what we call a honey wagon, which is basically a combination of restrooms and small dressing rooms.
Parker? Action, Gabby.
The problems in your marriage aren't going away, but you certainly are. You missed a spot.
Let's cut.
This is Larry's fantasy.
You need a minute?
Women fighting.
Now, I want to show you something with this slap. When you slap, you're going to go right across the eyes. It's a big slap, and it's going to turn your shoulders. Let's shoot. Action.
Mark.
I love the nun fight, because it's just so ironic that she's beating up a nun on an altar in a church. That's just comedic in itself.
They should actually just roll in. Maybe they can roll across and then roll back.
When we're rolling around on the ground on top of each other, there's actually a trick to that, to where you use the momentum of the other person. So we're rolling and rolling, and the whole time, which you don't see it because it's a wide shot, but we're laughing the entire time, giggling and giggling and giggling. And Larry's like, cut.
Cut it. We're not going to set an actress on fire, so we have a fire double.
All right, we're fueling.
How do we extinguish the fire? We're talking about these banners that we'll have to fabricate to pull down to use to smother the flame. Putting out the fire with Jesus Saves. So I think we can anticipate having some sort of, descriptive term on the banner.
In theory, this is a comic, ridiculous fight with a nun. In that moment when she catches on fire, Gabby suddenly has to save her. And you have this moment that's very kind of frightening and real. And then suddenly the nun bites her. And so there's a comic scene that we've put one straight beat of kind of straight drama, where the characters fall back into, hey, we're people. We got to deal with this.
Not everybody wants to see a nun getting beat up. But it was comical. It was very funny.
On the set is really, where I live, as far as, a day-to-day what you do. But when you're in the editing room, you make the movie. The editor will have the film probably for 2 more days, maybe 2 or 3 days before I see it. Say it again, Jonathan.
She throws like a nun.
You know why? Because she's throwing to miss. See, that's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, that works.
It's where you can fine-tune and find the ultimate editorial rhythms that support the comedy. See, right there is music. And so one of the things we do with music is counter score it. That is kind of the trademark of the show.
Such an absurd scene. I started scoring it more sort of funny, like, oh my God, this is a nun in a church and she's on fire. It's just ridiculous. And then I threw that out and I thought, wait a minute, these 2 women want to kill each other. And it's been building up for how many episodes? So I started over. And I think it plays funnier that way.
Doing a television show, you're under all these pressures to do it quick and do it this and that, and there's so many things. And you can take your eye off the very central ball, which is when you're done and you've said print and you're in the editing room, that's it. Cut. Thank you.
Got it? Good.
The theme is united in the end montage, which takes each of the little bits of story that each of the girls has and kind of finishes them. And the then poker game is a strong visual of that, them facing each other off and saying it's to the death.
But for some, surrender is unacceptable.
Well, Bree, what are you gonna do?
Even though they know it will be a fight.
I'll raise you.
to the death.
I really need to focus here.
There are big challenges, there are hard things to do, but this is a blast of a job.
It's a really fun episode, and it just turned out well. And it was beautifully directed and written pretty well. And you know, as usual, the actors did a great job.
You have no idea.
It's always a collaborative effort.
Sometimes we work really hard, but there is nothing to me that is better than working hard, sweating, being exhausted, and knowing that you nailed a scene and that the audience is going to enjoy it.
Not your typical comedy, and we're not your typical drama.
The cast is phenomenal, the crew is amazing. You have episode 2,
See how much fun we have in here? Don't you want to be in here every week?
yeah, episode 213 is